Hello, ladies, gentlemen. How are we doing today? It's Tuesday. I don't know the significance of Tuesday, but it is Tuesday. So welcome. We've gotten through Monday. It's not yet hump day, but it's technically hump day if you have Thanksgiving weekend off. So technically hump day. I guess, perhaps, maybe. Hey, how you guys doing? Hopefully everyone is having a good day. I really do. I hope you guys are out there living your best lives, because damn, it's bleak out there sometimes in the political landscape. I doom scroll more than I should, gang. But it's always nice to have you lovely ladies and gentlemen come into my chat and remind me that not everyone is crazy. Just half of you, okay? Quantum Fantasy says, who up streaming they wick? We up streaming our wicks, okay? We're going to have a wick off tonight. Collins, baby. Okay, it's Collins. We do Collins, and we talk about the world, and we talk about what's going on. We got a actual debate for you tomorrow, but today, dear ladies and gentlemen, today we are just going to chill, talk about the news, go over some stuff, and then take your calls. So, just to let you know how we do the call-in thing. So what you do is I'm going to put a link in chat. Okay? I'm gonna pin this link so you guys can find it easier. Hold on, give me a second. Pin message. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go click that link. You're gonna accept the rules by clicking my little face emoji on the rules page, not any of the other emojis, just the one of my face. You'll know because it's the prettiest emoji in there. Okay, you click that, and then you go to backstage, which is at the top of the chat, the Discord server, whatever. It's the very top one. You click it, and when I'm ready, I'll pull you in and we'll talk for a little bit. Binks BB, I am explaining it as we go. Okay, I know you're trolling me, but brother, you're in the server. You know how to call in. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's how you do it. So if you feel like you want to get something off your chest, if you think that I have had a bad take, or if you think I'm wrong on an issue and you would like to discuss it with me, now is your opportunity to do so. Today is the day we do things like this. And it's just something that I give to my community, in order to, let them be a part of things, because I do love you guys, most of you. No homo, okay? So yeah. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated today, okay? Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm getting prepped for that mentally, fortitude-wise, dealing with family. Always fun. I want to start off today by watching a show with you guys, okay? Or not a show, a video. How do we get that hoodie off your chest? NoCal Mike says $50 and I'll take it off. But first, I want to watch a video with you guys. And this was done by our community member, moderator, Zero Fucks. And it's a funny video. It's very well done. And I wanted to share it with you guys so we could watch it together. You guys ready to watch a video? Okay? To start us off, to get us in the mood, to get the creative juices flowing, okay? To open up discourse on all sorts of topics, including how many right-wing conservative pundits have just gone crazy. Well, sit down, kick your feet up, grab some popcorn, because we're going to do that right now. Yeah. Tell me if you can hear it. Fine, gang. Okay, here we go.
Like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that.
We know Israel did 9/11. Dirty Tuesday, they did 9/10 too. They put an end to my beloved friend. I'll close my eyes, fall asleep, and see him again. Charlie, who did this to you? Some Utah Mormon or a penny grabbing Jew. Charlie, who planned to take your
So good.
life? A foreign country, your team, and your wife. Charlie, who did this to you? A transferee lover or Netanyahu? Charlie, I know it's not what it seems. I'll tell the world what you tell me in my dream.
I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that
These
there's
are all
nothing
things
and no
she
one
said.
that is going to stop the truth from coming out.
The FBI says he is a liberal pro. From text messages and Discord logs, they cover up all the evidence. But in my dreams, I have the sixth sense. Charlie, who did this to you? A college dropout or a greedy
Frankest.
Ooh, Charlie, who planned to take your life? A foreign country, your team, and your wife. Charlie, who did this to you? A lone wolf patsy for Netanyahu. Charlie, I know it's not what it seems.
Mob gang.
I'll tell the world what you tell
Bravo. Let's give a hand to Zero Fox. That was really well done. It's a great little piece of art, I think. What do you guys think? Did you guys like the little tunes at the beginning of the show? We could put it up as our theme music, maybe, right? Some intro music for the stream. We used to have intro music. Sleeve T Rocks did some for me a while ago, but I don't know. I want to change it up a little bit. Get something put together. Solid Marcus says a little too well done. Oh yes. Now, so here's what makes it funny, but kind of sad. The funny part is that these are all accusations that Candace Owens has actually made. That his team, his wife, the Israelis were part of a plot to kill Charlie Kirk, okay? These are things she's inferred, she's implied, she's implicated all these people in this. That the person who actually killed Charlie Kirk, Tyler Robinson, was just a patsy, or wasn't the real shooter, or the real killer. And that it was really a Mossad assassin, okay? Or that his team hired and his wife was in on or something. It's crazy shit. Candace Owens is one of the biggest streamers out there, one of the biggest podcasters out there. Millions of people listen to Candace Owens. Keep that in mind. The most recent crazy that she's gone on is that she believes that the French government has hired assassins to kill her. Israeli assassins, of course, right? One is an Israeli Mossad agent, one's a female assassin of some sort, right? That she believes they've hired 2 assassins to come kill her. She's just crazy. Like, a lot of people will say, well, no, she's just grifting. And I guess maybe. But at what point, like, if you can't tell the difference between the grift and the crazy, what is the functional difference between these two things? Like, in both cases, something's seriously wrong with this person. Like, seriously wrong with this person. I don't know. Bring back mental institutions, I guess? I don't understand why people believe her. And people believe her. Not a lot, but enough. And again, it's one of those things where if you hear lies long enough, and if it's repeated long enough, you begin to internalize these things, whether you want to or not. And so while some people may say, well, no, she's probably not accurate, it still is funny how this X, Y, and Z happened. And doesn't it just raise some interesting questions about how A, B, and C were done, and why H, F, J, I don't know, right, are also in play? And it poisons your brain. It destroys your ability to reason when you just constantly consume slop like that. It destroys your cognitive function. We know that just the cell phones here, right? Just cell phones here like this. It's destroyed our attention span, okay? Our attention span is less today because of this, just neutral content. So I'm curious, and I'm not a neuroscientist, by the way, any stretch of the imagination, but I am curious what consuming constant paranoid slop does to your ability to reason and to function over a large period of time. I don't know, man. I don't know. Zero Fuck says, "Oh, unfortunately, the French-Israeli situation didn't make the cut in time for the video." The video is great. It's good that you kept the focus right on those things, and you didn't try to cover every single thing in the same video. I think a tightly focused video like this, it's exposing the crazy. I think it's perfectly fine. You can do a follow-up, maybe a round 2 if that video did well enough for you. You can do a round 2 and have Dreams Part 2, the French Connection or something. I don't know. You are much better at this than I am, so I will bow to your wisdom in the matter. Okay? Zero Fox says, if you're constantly distracted with the phone, you don't get to experience boredom. Boredom can be a massive key to innovation. Well, it's also a massive key to productivity in general, right? Like, the times I've done my best work has been when I've been bored. When I've simply been I got nothing to do, like literally nothing to do, and so I need to feel productive, and so I start to get something done. But unfortunately, because we have so many options to feel productive, we can engage in activities that don't actually do anything, but like get us that same dopamine hit of being productive. And that's, again, a real large part of why we are where we are as a culture right now. It's insane. It's insane. And it's killing us. It's destroying us. And it's only one, and the hell of it is, it's only one problem. We have multiple problems. So recently, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, rolled out a new feature. And this new feature was that now people could see the country of origin that you're posting from. And this has been enlightening, to say the least. To see how many people and accounts in my feed are just foreign slop commenting about politics in America and giving us brainworms, right? Giving Americans brainworms. Indians, Russians, Pakistanis, all with multiple thousand follower accounts, constantly posting like, oh, Trump's my president, and do you stand with Trump? Or a lot of them do this red pill bullshit, right? Where it's like, real men do X, Y, Z. And they pose as Americans. They pose as someone who voted for Trump, who's Trump's in their president, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But they're just foreign agents. And it's been very enlightening seeing how much of our political discourse is driven by accounts like that. And it's not just the accounts themselves, but it's the people who they follow. It's the people who look at what they post and then iterate on those posts and take what they say and run with it. And I think that this is a great first step in just, again, letting everyone know, hey, that slop you're reading, that's from Australia. That guy, not a Trump supporter, at least not a Trump voter, because he doesn't vote in America. He lives in Australia. Or wherever, right? It's funny because even the smaller accounts, like yesterday. Here, let me show you guys. Give me a second. Guess while we wait for callers, I can show you guys this one. I had a little funny little interaction that I wanted to share because I think it's indicative of how things go. Okay. So I made a post about what it means to be American, etc. It was arguing against heritage Americanism, which is a problem. I think these people I don't know if they're dumb or pretending to be dumb. Like, I don't know if they don't understand the basic points I'm making or if they're pretending not to understand the basic points I'm making in order to pretend that they have a point. But anyway, let me show you the interaction. Hopefully you can see it just fine. So this guy, Ming Oshogsny Goldstein, says, you seem un-American. Okay. Un-American? I thought he was just a bad speller. And he says, you are correct. I'm un-American. However, I am very American. He replies, sure, bruv. Bruv was the key that I was like, I should check where this motherfucker is from. I was like, bruv, I've never heard an American say bruv in my goddamn life. Okay. That's something that you say if you're from fucking Europe. So I checked where his account's from. Oh, you guys can't see it? Hold on. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Boop, boop. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he's from Thailand. Some motherfucker in Thailand coming to my account, to my replies, calling me un-American, okay? Crazy work. Crazy work. But now, the great thing is, we can check. We can look to see if something sounds weird, right? If something sounds, wait, did this account just say, just call it the Texas Oblast? we should probably check to see where they are from. It's an op, gang. It's an op. They are purposefully trying to pretend. They're trying to drive discourse by pretending that a lot of Americans think one way when it's mostly not Americans. Or at least it's not coming initially from Americans. And they just flood the zone with this shit. So, one of two changes that have been made to X since Elon Musk got it that I like. I hate what they did with a lot of other things. Like, I hate how they ruined DMs. DMs don't work anymore, right? Basically, it's this new chat feature. It's really weird. It's really dumb. I don't like it. It doesn't have the same usability that it did. There's a lot of other problems with I have with X. But the two changes I like are this one. Very base change. And I also like that they privated the likes. I enjoy that. I think it's good that no one can just like police you. Though they still retweet police you and stuff like that, which whatever. But also now I can like my thirst traps in peace. Okay, gang. No one can come in and judge me for that, which I do appreciate. Okay. I do appreciate. But yeah, it's crazy work, these people. Crazy work. And yes, I wish we could go back and look at all the accounts that were ginning up a lot of controversy on George Floyd stuff and COVID stuff and the other issues of the day. For example, stolen election propaganda. Like, how many of those accounts weren't even from America? How many of those accounts were just foreign actors or people pretending to be American? I don't know. But I'm betting it's not zero. I'm betting that number ain't zero. And look, people will say, well, the left probably has this too. And yeah, probably. Right? You could probably find a left account that was commenting about American politics. It turns out to be from Europe or Canada or some shit. Okay? You could probably find that. But the vast majority of the ones that I've looked at and the ones I've checked out have all been pro-MAGA, pro-right, and they've largely been foreign accounts. Now, I give certain people a pass, right? Like, we know Dev is Canadian. You guys know Dev, Short Fat Otaku? We know he's Canadian, but he's never pretended not to be Canadian, right? So I'm fine if you've never pretended to be American, right? And you've always just been clear about where you're from. Okay. Like, you can comment. That's fine. Like, but I am upset at the people who pretended to be from this country and pretended to have skin in the game that just didn't. And reminder, gang, this is a call-in show. So you can call in, okay? Unless you want to hear me rant a bunch. And I got some stuff to rant about. I want to also talk about, unfortunately, this is a homegrown retard, okay? This person's actually from the United States. But I wanted to talk about something that they said, and because I got in an argument with them about something a little unrelated, about Heritage American stuff. And we can go through that if you guys like. But I wanted to showcase just how dishonest these people are. Okay? So give me a second. I'm going to bring it up. This is an account by the name of... Oh, here, let me... Nope. Mimetic Sisyphus. Can you guys see these things, right? Can you see them? Okay. Dude's got about 70,000 followers, so not a small account by any means. He is US based. I did check, right? So fair enough. He quote tweeted Barack Obama talking about the Tulsa Race Massacre. Do you guys know about this event? Way back, I think in the 20s or 30s, right? There was the Tulsa Massacre where a bunch of people came into what was called colloquially Black Wall Street and just killed a bunch of black people, basically. Massacred the town. It was terrible. Horrific event. So this guy makes a post and says, "This started when a group of black World War I veterans opened fire on a crowd of unarmed white people." Huh. That's different than I heard. So, okay. What do you got? Says 2020 activists were pretty desperate for blood libels against white people, so they turned a riot kicked off by black men opening fire on a white crowd. Into the jealous white people got the KKK to drop sticks of dynamite on Black Wall Street from airplanes. It's Hotep levels of historical revisionism. This was a commission done in 2001 by Tulsa that compiled all available contemporary sources. You can read the whole thing if you like, but this is how they described the initial violence. It's like, oh, he's posting sources. Maybe I've been wrong this whole time. Maybe I have this wrong and he's correct. And wow, that does change things if that's true. Then I read what he posts. And I'll just go through the whole thing with you. I think it's worth reading. The only 32 officers were available for duty at 8 o'clock on the evening of May 31st. As a subsequent testimony is recorded in handwritten notes to post-riot investigation later revealed, there are apparently only 5 police on duty between the courthouse and Brady Hotel, notwithstanding lynching imminent. Moreover, by 10 p.m., when the drama of the courthouse was approaching its climax, Gustafsson was no longer at the scene, but had returned to his office at police headquarters. In the city's African-American neighborhoods, meanwhile, tensions continued to mount over the increasingly ugly situation down at the courthouse. Alerted to the potential dangerous conditions, both school and church groups broke up their evening activities early, while parents and grandparents tried to reassure themselves that the trouble would quickly blow over. Down in deep Greenwood, a large crowd of black men and women still kept their vigil outside the offices of the Tulsa Star, awaiting word on the latest developments downtown. Some of the men, however, decided that they could wait no longer. Hopping into cars, small groups of armed African-American men began to make brief forays into downtown, their guns visible to passerby. In addition to reconnaissance, the primary intent of these trips appears to have been to send a clear message to white Tulsans that these men were determined to prevent, by force of arms if necessary, the lynching of Dick Rowland. Whether the whites who witnessed these excursions understood the message is, however, an open question. Many apparently thought that they were instead witnessing a Negro uprising, a conclusion that others would soon share. Okay, so it sets the stage. There is a lynching going on at this courthouse, or they fear a lynching going on in this courthouse, that there's going to be people coming in and dragging the defendant, Dick, what's his name? Let me look. Dick Rowland. They're going to drag him out, lynch him, string him up, all these things. And there's big tension over this. Okay, so that's the scene. Nothing so far untowards, like, to what he said. Okay, let's keep reading. In the midst of all this activity, rumors began to circulate, particularly with regards to what might or might not be happening down at the courthouse, possibly spurred on by a false report that whites were storming the courthouse. Moments after 10 p.m., a second contingent of armed African-American men, perhaps 75 in number this time, decided to make a second visit to the courthouse. Leaving Greenwood by automobile, they got out of their cars near 6th and Main and marched single file to the courthouse steps. Again, they they offered their services to the authorities to help protect Dick Rowland. Once again, their offer was refused. Then it happened. As the black men were leaving the courthouse for the second time, a white man approached a tall African-American World War I veteran who was carrying an Army-issue revolver. I'm not going to say that word, the white man said. What are you doing? What are you doing with that pistol? I'm going to use it if I need to, replied the black veteran. No, you give it to me. Like hell I will. The white man tried to take the gun away from the veteran, and a shot rang out. America's worst race riot had begun. When the first shot fired at the courthouse may have been unintentional, those that followed were not. Almost immediately, members of the white mob and possibly some law enforcement officers opened fire on the African-American men, who returned volleys of their own. The initial gunplay lasted only a few seconds, but when it was over, an unknown number of people, perhaps as many as a dozen, both black and white, lay dead or wounded. Now, I will remind you again, dear viewer, of how this event was portrayed initially. This started when a group of black World War II veterans opened fire on a crowd of unarmed white people. In that retelling, and I'm asking you this seriously, do you, dear viewer, do you think that characterizing this event as black World War I veterans opening fire on a crowd of unarmed white people is an accurate characterization of these events? What do you think? Is he fibbing a little bit? Perhaps, maybe? Maybe leaving out a few details? I wonder what those unarmed white men fired back with. Finger guns? Pew, pew, pew? Damn, powerful finger guns to knock down a few black people. Shoot them up, right? And shoot actual bullets from them? Unarmed my ass! How are they firing back if they're unarmed? And let me tell you, if I have a gun, like if I'm in the subway, okay, and I got a gun on in my subway, and a black guy comes up to me and tries to take my gun, I'm going to shoot that guy. I'm going to shoot him. Someone trying to take my gun, you're getting shot. Because there's only a couple reasons why you're going to be trying to take my gun. And none of them are good. And especially in a tense situation like that. Nah, that started when that white motherfucker went up to that black guy and tried to take his gun by force. He got what he fucking deserved, first of all. And second of all, right, to characterize this as these black World War I veterans assaulting this innocent white mob is just entirely missing the point of what happened. It's not even an accurate retelling. This white mob was, by definition, not unarmed. I don't know. I dislike dishonesty. It bothers me on a fundamental level when people just lie to my face. And I don't know if he's just dumb and illiterate and couldn't read what he posted as evidence. Because remember, it's the same guy who said this that posted that snippet. And he thinks it supports, he either A, thinks that it supports his case, in which case he's just retarded, and we could laugh him out of the room, okay? Or he knows it doesn't support his case, but he trusts that you won't read it and take the time to look at it, because you think, oh, he just posted a source, he must be correct. And he's relying on people's laziness, right, in order to pass it off as legit. In both cases, one, he's just dumb and we can laugh at him, but he's like dangerously dumb. And that's not good. The other case is worse, though. If he's maliciously preying on people's laziness. And to be clear, most people on X are lazy. Most people are lazy. Okay? They're not going to check. They're not going to read all that. TLDR. Remember we talked earlier about low attention spans? Yeah. These people are lying. Let's be clear. These people are lying to you. They are lying to you. They are liars. Remember, let's get another example, gang, because you guys, I shouldn't just talk out my ass, right? I should give you examples. Let's show another recent example. Boop, 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 boop. Let me get it up. This person posts a lot. I gotta go down to where they posted what I want to. Hopefully, they didn't delete it. They're not shameful enough to delete it. No, they're not. Okay, here we go. Lauren Shen, Russian shill. Okay, the person who got indicted for taking money from Russia and trying to distribute it and help Russia distribute it to like people like Tim Pool and things like that from Tenet Media. This is this person. They're back because Trump dropped that case because they're buddies. Okay. Says this. The innocent. So let's be clear. Okay, let's see what she's quote tweeting. So ICE in Charlotte, the guy in the headlock is restaurant worker, barbarian. So this guy's criticizing the ICE agents for being a little too brutal. Okay. Here's a picture. We can look at the picture. You can see the picture. Got a guy in a headlock. It looks pretty bad. So Lauren here, the fucking liar that she is, says this. The innocent crying migrant appears to be holding a knife against one of the officers. Here's the picture. Do you guys see a knife in this picture? I don't see a knife in this picture. I see a sleeve, a rolled sleeve collar, and a shadow. I see no handle in his grip. He's just got his fist balled because he's being headlocked and he's trying not to get choked out. There's other angles of this photo. It's clear there's no knife. But Lauren here forgets we have fucking eyes. And this is the insidious nature of it. Because this post got like 3,000 likes, okay? For just straight up lying to you. Knowingly lying to you. Okay? She knows there's no knife in that. She can obviously see. She knows she's not stupid. Here's another angle, photo from another angle. That's obviously not a knife. There's no knife in his hand. There's other photos. We could go through them. There's no knife. But she's lying and saying that there is and expects you to just swallow it. And at least 3,000 people swallowed it. And she's not the only one that said that. Jack Posobiec said that shit. They are lying to you constantly, brazenly, openly. They think you're stupid. They think you're stupid. Does that not offend you? Why would anyone trust a single thing Lauren Shen ever says on anything after this? After she so blatantly, obviously, knowingly lied to you to try to get you to hate this guy. Now, when that lie didn't work, gang, when that lie didn't work, and everyone, left, right, and center, was calling him out, because there was a bunch of these influencers who said this, right? A bunch. But they were all getting clowned on. So another lie came up. Let me try to find this one. Because at first they're like, okay, well, no, he doesn't have a knife, but he's a pedophile. He says there's a pedophile. They're defending a pedophile. What is that account? Cayuga's top whatever. Hold on, let me find it. Do you guys know what I'm talking? Kaguya? How do you spell that? Do you know what I'm talking about? The one that's from Mexico, pretending to be American. Yeah, here we go. Kaguya's top gal. Let's see if their post is still up or if they deleted that shit. They post a lot too, so give me a second. They may have deleted it. I hope they did. But they basically posted a picture of some Spanish dude. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Says he's a sex offender. Lamau. Arrest date October 10th. Statutory rape of a child. Yeah, pretty bad guy. And gives a mugshot. But this picture here is cut off because there's another bit of information on the side that they don't show. What does this information show? Okay, we can look. Hold on, let me see if we can find the exact photo. No, not that. This is it. Yeah, here we go. You can see down here. Your release is not authorized. The defendant has required to provide fingerprints, DNA. This guy, no bond. So at the very bottom, I know you can't see, but let me just try it up. No bond. He wasn't let out on bond. That motherfucker's still in jail. Okay? No way it could be the same guy. It's not the same guy. But their knife lie didn't work because it was obvious the guy didn't have a knife. So they tried again. They tried again. In order to justify the brutality of ICE, they are constantly lying to you, throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. And they are doing it knowingly, brazenly. And this motherfucker is from Mexico, let's be clear. Okay? But they're trying to pretend and get involved. It bothers me on a fundamental level. It is evil. It's evil. Short Sack Goblin, why are you lying about me now? Saying, and yet you're against holding these people accountable. No, I'm against holding 75% of Republicans and barring them from legally holding office, which is a very specific kind of accountability, right? It's not I'm against accountability. It's I'm against this stupid ass proposal. There's a difference. Oh, $5 from Bastony saying you're getting the most accurate location data now. People with VPN, although at a small cost. Link in general, and yeah, they might, but there's a little shield icon next to their location, a little shield, and it shows that they're using a VPN. So it's not a perfect location finder, but it is what it is. Nick Costanza says, "Where's Tali?" Not on this show, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy making. The amount of lies that they'll just brazenly tell. From mimetic Sisyphus posting lying and then posting a source that showed he was lying and expecting you not to read that source and just relying on your laziness, to Lauren Chen, there's a knife. Wait, it's a sleeve. Oh, he's a pedophile. Oh, wait, that's some other guy. Right? And they don't delete their shit. They don't change. They don't apologize. They don't do any of these things. Well, that's not quite true. There was a gentleman, and let me see if I can find it. Because I posted about this. And someone did say, yeah, I got it wrong, but I'll show you what they said as well. Give me a second. You think I'd have all these things up, but we're going with it. We're off the dome, stream of consciousnessing it right now, because I wasn't planning to talk about this specific thing today, but now I am. Now I am, and it's bothering me. So we're going to talk about it, and you guys are going to get this, okay? Where is it? Did he delete it? Well, I didn't delete it, so my post should at least still be up. Yeah, he deleted it. But I said, because this guy was also doing the knife thing, right? Saying it's obviously a knife, right? And I said, the right will literally make shit up and pretend things are true that you can see with your own eyes are literally not true. Words cannot express how deeply evil these people are. And then I look at, like, he responds to me. He says, oh, fuck it. Maybe not. I don't care. Fact check. He's getting deported anyway, and we are going to fucking kill you. Is this a left-wing violence I keep hearing about, by the way? Dude has 50,000 followers, to be clear. Just straight up like, oh, you caught me lying? I'm going to kill you. 100 likes on that bad boy. Well, no, 99 likes, sorry. Just mad he got called out, I guess. But they don't care. And he's being, look, I guess you got to give him a little credit for just being honest. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to get you to want this guy deported. And I'm willing to make up anything. I don't care. And oh, also, we're going to kill you. Insane. This is a state of things. This is where we're at. He wasn't banned? Of course not. First of all, I don't report people for that kind of thing. I don't think it's a serious threat. But by God, if I had said that I'm going to kill him, my ass would be banned from the platform. There's a double standard, obviously. It was on X, Corwin Shellaway. We can look at it again if you like. We are going to fucking kill you. That's the acronym. This is a guy quote tweeting me because, again, he lied. I'm such a pussy. I guess maybe. I don't know if I'm a pussy for not reporting everyone. That's weird. Just don't report people. Look, I grew up. We don't call the cops in my house. Okay, we take care of it. I don't know. It's just been my thing. If I'm calling the cops, something's gone terribly, terribly wrong. But if I can just take care of it, I will. So I'm taking care of it. He's content now, making me money. But yeah, so the reason I know what this acronym is because on the day Charlie Kirk died or was killed, I put out a post saying, hey, we need to tone down the temperature. This is not okay. And then I had over 1,000 rightoids in my comments, groypers, right-wingers of all stripes, left, right, well, mostly right. I don't think left-wingers said that day. But yeah, they were all saying, we are going to fucking kill you. And thousands, literally thousands of these posts with like polar bears mauling people, gore, all sorts of bullshit, right? So and I understand this is anecdotal. I understand that this is anecdotal. But my experience online has been two groups, mainly, telling me that they're going to kill me, okay, or rape me, or any other number of things to me. Three actually. Right-wingers, tankies, and pro-Palestine people. Those three groups. If I'm going to get an angry DM telling me to kill myself or telling me that they're going to kill me or rape my family or whatever, it's going to be either a tanky, pro-Palestinian person, or a white-winger. One of the three. And in any case, look, these people don't scare me, but they do give the lie to people who say, oh, the left wing is violent and the right wing doesn't do that kind of thing. Of course not. Of course they don't. Right? Of course that's not true, right? Of course the right wing does this kind of thing. They do it all the time. I'll give you another example. Here's Stone Toss Comics. Actually identify as a bird that can fly. And the turkey jumps. So, for those of you who may not know, this bridge picture was the last picture taken from an unfortunate trans person who killed themselves, jumped off the bridge. And the rights turned it into a meme. They make fun of it. They mock it. They say, do a backflip. They make jokes about it all the time. They think it's funny. They want it to happen more. But don't you dare post a Charlie Kirk meme. Don't you dare do that. That's not okay. It's just this double standard, and it's crazy. And remember, this has gotten 10,000 likes so far, okay? So, also, just so you know, gang, wild turkeys can actually fly. Don't know if you know that. Like, obviously, the farm-bred ones, the factory-bred ones, they can't because we breed them not to. We breed them too big to fly because we want to eat their yummy meat. But wild turkeys can absolutely fly. They can fly at about a speed of 55 miles per hour. They're not super long distance flyers, but they can fly. Yeah. I didn't know that till I looked it up, Flash Tommy, that they could fly 55 miles per hour. But that's what they say. So, yeah. Anyway, just one more example of just the level of hypocrisy. Okay? The level of hypocrisy that is out there. And it's insane. Short Stack Goblin says, can we define tankies here? It's usually when I talk about Ukraine. So people who hate Ukraine and want Russia to win. Anytime I talk about Ukraine, I know I'm going to get death threats. Putin apologists, basically. Russia dick sucks. Tankies. That's what I call them. I think that's accurate. Oh, we have people who want to call in. Oh, great. Good. I've done ranting and we can do some call-ins. How's that going? I'm not sure which came first, so I'm going to go top to bottom here. Give me a second. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay. Hello. You're live. You're muted on your end, by the way.
You dragged me in as I was about to put a super chat.
Go. Okay, well, I'll drag you out. Then you can super chat, and then I'll bring you back in.
No. I'll send it. Actually,
Okay.
I'll send it right now.
Okay, do it.
And then you can read it. Cause
then we can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. I like this way of doing things. We should. More people should do this. $10 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays says, I don't think comparing someone making fun of someone that deleted themselves and deleting themselves is the same as making fun of someone getting deleted by someone else. I would say it's a distinction without a difference. If you're celebrating the fact that someone got killed, whether they're by their own hand or someone else's hand, I think you're pretty much scum. I think it's a
yeah, but who's more scum?
To do. I don't.
Who's
care.
more scum?
I don't care. I don't
Okay.
rate evil like that. Like if you cross a certain level, I think that it's perfectly okay to categorize you both as scum. And I don't need to say, well, technically he's a little more scummy than this other person. It doesn't matter.
Well, okay, I can agree with that, but I don't think it's exactly the same.
So when they say that they're going to fucking kill me, is that worse or better than making a joke about someone dying.
That's worse. That's worse.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Threats are worse than joking about
Yeah.
someone dying.
Yeah. I agree. So
okay,
what
the
you
knife
calling
thing.
for? What do you got? What do you got for me?
The knife thing. Well, you said Collins, and I was listening to the stream, and you were
Yeah.
talking about the knife thing.
Yep.
And you kept calling people liars, and in my head, I'm like the Lauren Chen person. I don't think she was lying. I think she was wrong. And then when she found out that that was just an optical illusion, she just pivoted to a completely different thing. So I think that's what happened with her. I don't think she's like trying to make evil propaganda or whatever.
So you don't
Because,
think that the
she's trying to
lady who
justify-
got caught trying to funnel money to through Tenet Media for Russian propaganda is making propaganda? You don't think she'd do that? She'd never do that, right? Because that's what she got caught doing. She got caught making propaganda and getting people to pay for propaganda and things.
Went out.
Oh, am I here? Can you guys
Hello?
hear me? Hello?
Oh, there we go. Now I
Hello?
can hear you.
Are we still live, gang?
I can hear you now.
Okay. You can hear me now?
I think you're live. Yeah.
So, yeah, what I feel very comfortable calling Lauren Chen a liar here, considering it's very easily
Well,
proven to be a lie.
I don't. Well, if she lied, wouldn't she just double down and not pivot to another thing?
She didn't pivot to it. Someone else did. You remember there are these a bunch
so
of
what
them.
did?
She didn't.
So
s-
what
she
did
didn't
she say
pivot at
after
all.
that? She.
Nothing. We can look at her timeline.
Oh,
Hold on,
okay.
Give me a second. Here, I'll share my screen.
All right.
Let me go down to it.
Watch stream. Okay.
Here's the post she made. Remember, here's the picture. She said that that's a knife. That's obviously not a knife. Like, it doesn't even look like a
Appears to be
knife. No
holding a
knife
knife.
looks like that in the history of the world.
Well, but you can see the optical illusion, right?
But knives don't look like that. Knives don't have that kind of bend or
Yeah,
point.
but you see how it curves a little bit, and that looks like
Yeah.
that shadow, the edge of that shadow.
But it
is the
doesn't
white,
even
and
line
then
up with the. It doesn't
the
even line up
fist
with
is
the thing.
holding-
It's obviously not a knife.
that is definitely an optical illusion.
It
You can at
is
least say that.
Absolutely not. It's absolutely not. But let's go.
I know what it is, but I can see why someone could be mistaken by that. That looks like something. That
Okay.
does look like something.
Okay. So then she goes to posting about the account change. Then she talks about Joe Biden. She talks about Ukraine. She talks about Joel Berry and Oren McIntyre and Tim Cast. She
Yeah,
talks about
she's a
she's just
she's a white
posting stuff. But there's no pivot. She doesn't talk about how the
Okay,
guy's
so
what's it called, a pedophile or anything. She doesn't change her position. It's
well,
just
when you were talking about her, I thought you were saying that they got caught in the lie. Now they're pivoting to another
yes, they is
another
in
thing
the,
about
that
they
they is in that that section of Twitter, those propagandists, right? Because I put her in the same bin as Jack Posobiec, Tim Pool,
Posobiec.
all these kinds of people who will just straight up lie and make up propaganda. And now, again, she didn't put out the pedophile stuff, right? But others did. And right wingers,
Is she
in my
wouldn't she
replies,
pa-
when I was, just let me finish.
Sorry.
When I was talking about this, right wingers in my replies would say, this isn't the hill to die on. He's actually a pedophile, right? And they all source this kind of narrative, and it's a seeking, and that's what it is. It's a seeking of a narrative to justify their bad actions.
Well, I wouldn't say bad actions, but actions. Yeah, I can see that. I can see how it looks like a cope. Like the ice raids kind of look really bad, and a lot of people don't really like it. So now people that really support Trump are looking for.
You could just
things
say,
that
I don't mind
basically-
him getting deported. And if that's all they had said, fair. right? It's not
Yeah,
the
but they're
best
taking
statement,
it to
but
the
it's fair.
extreme.
But they're trying to lie about it. And so Sneed McPhee's asking, when has Posobiec lied? He made the same tweet. I can go find it if you like. But he made the same tweet about the guy having a knife. He obviously didn't have a knife.
But you know how confirmation bias works, right? Like
Yes,
they have a
you're
perceived
more
thing,
than
and then
yeah. You have a
so
perception, and anything that seems to
aligns to
align with your
the yeah.
perception is more easily gets past your cognitive barriers and your truth barriers and your things. That's not an
So
excuse, especially when
it's
you're
not an
pushing this
excuse.
stuff, and especially when it's super obvious it's not a knife.
I mean, but you can. Well, I guess you can't see it. I can see it, but I guess you can't see it. I understand why they thought that was a knife. Because at first glance, when you were scrolling through, when I just popped up on the stream, I was like, "Oh wait, that kind of does." Oh wait, not really. But like, my first thought process was to think that. That's the thing, though. But people just need to look at it more. But I'm not heavily
more than
like
5 seconds. Darwina for
yeah.
$5 says this. Calling that a knife is beyond ridiculous. The blade just vanishes on the other side of the hand. It's just more Trump admin lying propaganda. I don't
You
think
can have
Lauren Chen was
you can have
Trump admin, but yeah.
you can have like a small knife that's smaller than the palm of your hand. Like it just goes down a little bit and you can just hold it like that, right? That
Yeah,
exists.
sure, right? But
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
see
So
a knife
saying
that,
it's
I've
saying
never
it's
seen a knife
beyond
that bends like
ridiculous
that.
is
But I've never seen a knife that bends like that. Do I need to bring it up again? I don't
there's
think
lots of different weird looking knives.
Can you show me one that bends like that?
Not really. I mean,
Yeah,
other than that
not
picture.
really. They're not out
I'm not
there.
a knife person. Maybe someone could find it, but I'm not a knife person. I'm not going to know this. But I've seen knives curve in different directions because they look cool or whatever, because some people collect them.
1998 Cuba for $5 says, unless someone tells you they lied, how would you know that? Of course, they will fall back to, I guess I was wrong, lol, as a defense for the 100th time. I think that
I mean, if she literally goes out and starts saying that this person had a knife and starts blasting it and just continuing to spread that same image and showing that's when I would say she's lying. But if she just posted it once and then just left it.
In this case, look, I get being wrong. I understand that. But if you don't issue a correction when people point out that you're wrong, then it begins to feel sus.
Okay, it feels sus. I can agree with that. I would say that she's being suspicious with that.
And given that we know Lauren has accepted the money in the past from Russia to try to funnel it to people through tenant media, okay, I don't have the charity for her, right? That she's not actively lying in this. I think she is actively lying here.
I wouldn't say that she's actively. I think she's wrong about this, but I
don't know.
You would have to
like what would it take for you to believe that she's lying?
Her to personally slight me.
Okay, fair. You know what? Fair enough. Okay, that's your line. That's your line. But this is obviously not a knife. The other pictures that you can look up very easily show it's not a knife. It didn't even look like a knife in the original picture. It just screams propaganda to try to sell to the American public justification for the brutality of that arrest. And it's a brutal arrest. They headlock the guy, they tackle the guy, they got him like crushing his neck and things. It's brutal.
Yeah. It's not good. But do you remember what Trump said in the campaign? No. And I think in Biden's when they were last year, he was up against Biden, right? Doing the presidential debate thing. During that debate, I remember him vaguely saying that when they came up to the immigration topic, I think he literally said that these are going to look like really bad, like, but we got to do it. And this is what's going to happen. And I'm like, oh, well, so like he said what he was going to do and how it was going to look and that it was going to look really bad. But he said we still got to do it. So I'm kind of like, I mean, this is what he wanted. This is what people voted for.
I mean, again, as I said, if they had just said, well, he needed to go, that's one thing. But they didn't. They made up lies about why this guy needed to be brutalized. Because they understand how bad this looks. And they're willing to lie in order to get you to buy into that. And if they're willing to lie about that, what else are they lying about? Are they lying about the need to do this? They're willing to lie to get it done.
Wait, do this? What do you mean specifically? Are you insinuating that they're lying about other stuff?
No, well, obviously they're lying about other stuff, but I'm
know, but
saying
like
that if they're
anything
lying,
specific?
sure. Lauren Chen, I think, is lying about all sorts of things. We can go through her little list of things. She lies about Ukraine all the time.
I don't know her stance on Ukraine, but she probably has
Lauren
a
Chen
similar
is
stance of
a
Tim
Russian
Pool.
propagandist.
Yeah, probably.
But I just want to remind people.
Like,
I'll bring it up one more time.
Just to give context on why I'm being a little bit more defensive, is that I like Tim Pool. Tim Pool's a good guy. I like him. I like watching his stuff.
You can
He's
like
a good
him,
dude.
but he's obviously
but
not the.
Lauren Chen has been on
guy.
his show a few times,
I know.
and so I'm sympathetic to maybe giving her a little bit of slack.
Okay, I'm not. So here's Lauren Chen, and just to remind everyone, who's asking, says the innocent crying migrant appears to be holding a knife against one of these officers. And this is a picture.
Yeah, but you say
chose.
how she says appears to be. That's a weasel
appears
word.
To be?
I can see why you said, if she said definitely that it looks like that, then I would be like, okay, so she deluded herself. But no, she says appears to be, which is that's suspicious. Why would you say appears to be if you?
It's just It just doesn't even look like any knives I've ever seen.
I'm coming over to your side. I'm rationalizing over to your side.
It's just, again, and when this lie didn't work, the others talked about how he was a pedophile. But
is he though? Is this a lie too? Or
yes, this is a lie too, because the photos of an unnamed person arrested by ICE. So this photo, unnamed person arrested by ICE on November 19th in Charlotte restaurant under construction. The mugshot was Joaquin Caparoli Pablo, arrested on October 10th in Wake County for child sex offenses. And he was denied bail, and you can go look that up and see it.
So those are two different people. The guy in this picture being...
Not the same person, but they're pretending it is the same person in order to, again, justify what's being done and the brutality of what this is. So when the knife thing didn't work, they pivoted to this, which was also a lie. They just, and I want to be very clear, they just lie to you all the time about everything. You can trust nothing they say.
Oh, I would say nothing.
You should double check, triple check every single claim that they make.
So if someone in that group criticizes another person within that group, would you think that they're lying?
I wouldn't trust their criticisms, even of each other. I would go and I would look at other sources. Yes. I would never go to Lauren Chen as a source for anything.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't go to her for specific things, but say that Lauren Chen's maybe just to pretend that she's like a doctor or something. You would still go to her for like doctor advice as if she was like a pediatrician or something, right?
Would I go to her for doctor advice? No.
Yeah. Even if she was like had a degree and everything and was practicing?
If I knew she was a liar, no, I wouldn't go to her doctor for doctor advice because I know she would lie. When I had my tooth issue, right? I don't know if you were here for that. But my tooth issue, where it took me a long time to find a dentist, is because dentists were lying to me throughout the process. They would say one thing and then either try to do another, try to upcharge me, try to say I needed work that I didn't actually need. And it took me a while to find an honest dentist because the dentistry industry is rife with scams. And these are licensed, accredited dentists that will just lie to you, basically.
For a quick buck, though.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And so, yeah, obviously, if I know someone's a liar, why wouldn't they lie in the doctor's office or the dentist's office or something like that? I've had dentists lie to me before.
I think it's just a little bit of a fallacy. Because you would, like, just because someone lied in this part of a sector doesn't mean that they're going to lie in another sector of their life that's completely unrelated to that.
Maybe, but
I
I'll
just
just
tend
find.
not to
You
do
know
that.
what? You that might be true, but I would feel much safer with someone who doesn't lie at all. Um.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Is there anything else before we let you go and bring someone else on?
To be honest, when you pulled me in, I was not prepared at all.
Okay.
So
I'll talk
that's
to you
why I didn't
later,
have the
buddy.
camera. But thanks for
Now
bringing me
keep
on.
super chatting me. Give me more money. I'll see you later.
Of
Bye.
course, of course.
And you guys here, before we bring the next guy in, I think this is important too. You guys remember the Blaze? No, I don't have to do it this way. I can do it this way. Hold on. So apparently, the Blaze accused some lady of actually being the one to plant the pipe bombs, but it turns out that the Blaze fucking lied, and they're full of shit, and they got called out on it. So a federal security officer linked to thwarted Jan 6 pipe bomb attack cleared her name by providing an alibi. Video of her playing with her puppies at the time the device was placed, sources told CBS News. The FBI has now ruled her out as a suspect of the 2021 plot, according to 3 sources, but only after her name circulated on social platforms and a conservative news site. That news site is Blaze, by the way. How an innocent woman's name came to be publicly linked to the unexploded pipe bombs is a question that has raised concerns among some senior officials in the Trump administration. CBS News is not naming the security officer or her workplace. The federal agency she protects declined to comment. Multiple sources said that a unit overseen by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard drafted a memo identifying the woman and describing allegations that she had placed the explosive devices outside Democratic and Republican Party offices. The memo was written after ODNI was made aware of allegations from an outside source, an ODNI spokesperson said. ODNI officials said the agency received a tip from a person affiliated with a media organization, Blaze, about potential criminal wrongdoing by an individual believed to be working at an intelligence agency and set about documenting it in a minute memo. A copy of the unfinished memo was given to the senior staff at the security officer's workplace, sources said. It also circulated among a few Trump administration officials, building expectations that the nearly 5-year-old case might be solved. But the memo caught some officials at the FBI, Justice Department, and White House off guard, these sources said. The ODNI oversees the nation's foreign intelligence gathering and has limited domestic investigative authorities. The FBI is leading the pipe bomb investigation. A short time after the unfinished memo began to circulate, the conservative news outlet Blaze News published details similar to those in the draft, including the woman's full name. The November 8 Blaze News article claimed that it had pinpointed the woman after a review of video evidence and, get this, gang, gait analysis software matched her walking pattern to the gait of a person shown in surveillance footage, who authorities suspected planted bombs outside the party offices on January 5th, 2021. So I want to be clear, gang. Because they walked similarly, Blaze decided to dox this person and accuse them of planting bombs. And again, got took up by Tulsi Gabbard, the most incompetent intelligence officer I think we've ever fucking had. And it went all the way through the process before she had to prove her innocence and showed a video of her being somewhere else when the alleged crime took place. And their silver bullet, right? Their smoking gun was a gait analysis. A gait is how you walk. Yeah, Acriel. Imagine if she didn't have that video. Imagine if she didn't have an alibi, right? Because she was just sleeping or something. Insane. The Darwina says, when the Kirk shooting first happened, all right-wing accounts on X immediately start falsely accusing this account because they were trans. Thank you for the $5. $5 from 1998 Cuba says, if she wasn't sure about what she saw, then why post about it? Because based on the wording she used, it seems she wasn't sure what she was seeing. Yeah, but they don't care. Look, the truth may be out there, but it's not. It's not to be found on their pages. Here, let's bring in the next person. Hello, you're live.
Yeah, hi. I've got 3 questions about the refuse illegal orders ad.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Wonderful. Well, the first one is, did Mark do anything wrong if you had to play devil's advocate?
It was performative. Like that's the most thing you could say is, hey, that was maybe irresponsibly performative. But that's not a crime. And it's not sedition.
Okay. Well, the next two questions are more linked. How do you feel about the ad, and what do you think about Trump and his administration going after Mark and the other senators for it?
Sure. So, what do I think about the ad? When I first initially saw it, I didn't think anything of the ad because, again, when I was in the military, I would be told stuff like that constantly, right? I would, again, as I explained yesterday, we would have computer-based training every 6 months or so, where we would be told that. We would be, among a bunch of other things, that, hey, you have a duty to disobey unlawful orders. So it was just kind of par for the course. It didn't stick out to me as weird or different. It was like, oh, okay, it's just I'm going to be real with you. I kind of zoned out, right, when they started talking about that because I'd heard it so many times. And so it was weird to me how it became an issue. And suddenly everyone was pearl clutching over it. And I'm like, why? I got told this all the time in the military. Why is it different now? And I think that the Secretary of War, I almost called him the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, like he's busy calling them the seditious six and getting the military to tribunals to like investigate them, and the FBI is setting up interviews with them and all this kind of rigmarole going on. It's all it's doing is it's doing two things. It's sending a signal to their base that they're being tough on the Democrats, and it's Mark Kelly in particular. It's getting him a lot of money. He's funding raising like crazy off of this, and he's making bank. Okay, I will bet anyone who thinks that they're ever going to be convicted of this, I will bet you $1,000 that within a year there is no convictions of any of these individuals over sedition. They don't get a sedition charge. They at least don't get a conviction over sedition. I will bet $1,000 here and now. Anyone wants to take me up on that, we could put it in escrow, and I'm more than willing to make that bet. What they did was not sedition in any way, shape, or form. Does that answer your question?
That does answer my question, yes. Can I ask a bonus question?
Well, you said you had 3, and you asked 2, so you have a third. Still.
Okay, well, I'll take that then. I don't need to do a bonus question. What is your personal opinion about the attacks off the coast of Venezuela? Do you think those are potentially? I mean, we are not privy to all the info because they're not sharing it.
Yeah, I think that like we need to stop doing this non-Congress approved extrajudicial action. There are situations where it would be justified and good to bomb these boats, but the fact is we don't have access to that information, and I don't trust this administration to accurately make these calls. And so I want to see some information. I want to get more into this. I think there should be at least people inquire into this. I think it's perfectly acceptable. I think that the biggest tell in this situation is that they have captured some of these people after a strike, and they didn't charge them. They just let them go. You would think that if they had information that they were vicious drug smuggling criminals, they wouldn't release them. They would keep them and charge them. But they didn't do that.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for pulling me in.
No, thanks for coming. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Let's bring on the next caller. Hello, you're live.
Hey, Wick.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
we're here. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving. And
We
hopefully,
definitely
right,
are.
I would be doing better if more people stuffed my turkey with super chats. So,
Well, I encourage everyone to keep donating because we want to keep, we want to support like such a great space for online debate and
well, thank
definitely
you.
bipartisanship. But anyways, so like I know whenever I come on here, I keep going off on the same like tangent. I keep, trying to get you to agree with the same points, but this whole Lauren Chen like person and debacle, I only vaguely know of her because of the whole like shilling money for Russia
The tenant scandal, yeah.
and stuff like that. But yeah, but isn't this a perfect example of how you can't really sort of have like a rational debate with lots of people on the right? Because whether or not she lied or not, I think she did, but there's not a single person that would have had like Lauren Chen on their podcasts or, like had a conversation with her that is going to not do so now that they know that she lied about this, right? Like this just isn't really something
Well, I
that they're
would
considering
well,
because
I would have her on my show to be clear, right? Because even if I know someone is a liar, I think that it's useful on occasion to get certain opinions, even from people who I know might lie.
okay, fine. Then instead of not having her on a show, that's going to like denounce her or confront her.
Sure,
For
sure,
this.
sure. I
There's
get you. I
not
get what you mean.
one.
I get what you mean. I do. I
Yeah,
do. But
yeah.
here's what I think that you are the mistake you're making here, and it's a mistake that the right makes a lot, but you're making it too. Someone on the left or the right will do something bad, something awful in certain cases, and then we will ascribe that action to everyone on that side. And I think that's a mistake. So I don't trust Lauren Chen because of her actions. But I would never put the actions of Lauren Chen on just some random right winger. Why would I? They haven't done that. Unless they engage in that same behavior, I'm not going to judge them the same way.
I think you can judge people though by who they choose to represent them and like what sort of conduct they find acceptable. So like one of the big points of contention in the right wing right now is like the whole like Groyper MAGA split. And so there you can see where lots of like people on the right draw the line, where lots of like you know uh, voters will decide who they vote for like based on stuff like this. Lots of like money will go against fighting these people and stuff like that. There's the same sort of split when it comes to like tankies and regular liberals or like Israel Palestine on the left. These people are not fought against in any sort of like real extreme way on the right. People that just like lie, to push their message, as long as it goes along with the same message that is held by the dominant like MAGA narrative at the time, when that's not nearly to the same level on the left. I agree there are tankies that do the same thing, but all of us are against those types of people. Like all of us, here
Sure.
that have a more like moderate liberal view of things. And I would consider myself having like a socialist leaning views, but I'm not a tanky, right? And so I can even I can say, hey, people like Hassan and that entire like you know group of people that hold to those views and that do that same sort of thing, I can say, hey, they're crazy, we shouldn't like take what they say seriously. It's not really the same thing that happens on the right? They're not willing to do that same thing as long as you go along with what they say.
Are you familiar with the current, not to hyperbolize, but this, for lack of a better term, civil war going on the right now between woke right and the more conservative faction? Yeah. I think that is their version of what we have with tankies. There is a internal struggle for control on the right, and it is falling along lines of who's willing to lie and who is not. There are people like James Lindsay, Joel, that Joel guy who was on Timcast recently, who was basically struggle sessioned by Orrin McIntyre and Tim Pool to denounce James Lindsay, right? Because James Lindsay is just calling out bad actors on the right, left and right. He's calling them out, saying, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. There is a faction of the right that is trying to purge their radicals, who's trying to get a hold of their party again. And now I obviously don't agree with them politically on almost anything, but they're just correct in their assessment of what's going on. Like the Ben Shapiro's are just correct in their infighting here. So
I'm glad you brought up
disagree
Ben
with you.
Shapiro,
Just
because
let me finish real quick, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
Like I do disagree with your framing that they don't push back on their own bad actors. I think that there are plenty of people on the right who do that.
I think you have to look at why those people are pushing against their bad actors, though. Like you talked about Ben Shapiro. I don't think Ben Shapiro is pushing against, people like Nick Fuentes because he cares fundamentally like about the truth or anything like that. I think that Ben Shapiro is, he believes that the United States should remain a strong ally of Israel. And obviously, Nick Fuentes is one of the biggest challengers to that on the right now. And so I think, because of that, because they share that major disagreement, he's willing to point out the lies. But you can, find a whole bunch of clips of Ben Shapiro not pointing out people lying when it, is convenient to him.
The problem with Ben Shapiro is he's willing to point out the lies, but then he'll still vote MAGA anyway, which is silly. But I disagree with him on that, obviously. But he has called even Trump out on lies before.
Yeah, but the more he calls it, he's been calling out Trump slightly more recently, especially on tariffs and stuff like that, because he doesn't agree with that. But I think you can identify the time period when he started calling out Trump more. He started doing it a bit more when Trump gave the green light for that Tucker Carlson interview that he had with Nick Fuentes. Then he afterwards, I think it was literally the next day or a couple days after that, he went on CNN and had a couple criticisms for Trump and stuff. I do not think Ben Shapiro or these people are being intellectually honest, and their issue with the woke right has anything to do with actual truth. I think lots of these people
Would you say let's take the talking heads out of it, right? And
Sure.
I know that's a little hard to do, but the rank and file Republican or conservative or MAGA or whoever, do you think they're lying?
The rank and file MAGA, do I think they're lying?
Yeah, do you think that one of the people in my chat, right, basically, who are more Trump voters or MAGA-ish or MAGA adjacent, do you think that they're being dishonest? I don't think for the most part, well, there's a couple, right? But I don't think for the most part that they're being dishonest. I think they just fundamentally disagree. And I think that they're being lied to, but I think I judge that differently than someone who is just pushing a dishonest narrative because.
So have you ever, this is going to sound like it's a random tangent, but I promise it's not. Have you ever watched Avatar, The Last Airbender?
I've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, yes.
So do you know how when they have their Boss Sing Say episode and Toph can sense when people's lying, and so two people came together, I can't remember what the exact scenario is, and they wanted to figure out which one was lying, and she was like, oh, this is weird, they're both telling the truth, how can this be, because they're saying contradictory things. And then one of the characters was like, oh no, this one character has just been brainwashed, and so they think they're being told the truth, but they're actually being told lies and they're saying lies. I think that people on the right, when you tell them something they want to hear, a lot of people with this Lauren Chen stuff, I don't think every single person who promoted that necessarily knew it was a lie and this person didn't have a knife. But I think because it's something that they already wanted to believe and it agrees with their viewpoints, that they didn't do any sort of deeper dive into it, even, just taking a second look at this image to see, obviously, it's not a knife. And so I think, because of that, there's not really any argument to be made, because even if you convince these people that they're wrong, they'll just go on to someone else. And then you have to convince them that other point is wrong or it's a lie. And then you have to keep going on and on and on. It takes a lot more effort to prove bullshit wrong than it does to just make up bullshit. And they don't have any sort of intellectual scrutiny that they hold to a high standard. So when you say are they lying, they know for a fact this is false and stuff like that, I think some of them do. I think some of them just want to believe it, and so they go along with it, even though they in their minds know that, hey, I should really take a deeper look on this to see what it means.
I've made mistakes before. I've said things that I thought were true that ended up being not true, and I believed them, right? But
Sure.
then when information comes
We
to
all
me,
have.
Yeah, I think everyone's done that. But when information comes to me and I'm like, oops, oh, I look stupid here. That's really bad. I tend to correct myself. I try to, at least.
Yeah, you do, and that's
I
good,
think
but
that,
they don't.
well, that's not true. I have seen right-wingers correct themselves before. And
Have
here's
you
what I
ever
want to
seen?
push back
How
against
often
on
have you
man.
seen a right winger correct themselves, and that lead to like some big fundamental change in their viewpoints?
Okay, it doesn't often.
Exactly.
But they're
And
still
lots of their
correcting
big
themselves.
lots of their big fundamental viewpoints are based nearly entirely on lies. So
If $5 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays to say Hazel is making my point better than I am, let's go, take my money. I will take your money. I understand what you're saying, but what you're trying to sneak in with what you're saying is that the right can't be trusted and we need to just cut them off. Is that an incorrect assessment of what you're saying?
it depends on what you mean by cut them off. I think we're being much more charitable to them. I don't necessarily think like if someone wants to move over from the right and like switch sides to the left, I don't think we should like
No, say they don't. Say
excommunicate them.
they're still going to be a MAGA voter, but they're trying to be honest, and we can see that they're trying to be honest. They just disagree with us, and they want to vote for MAGA. Should we cut them off?
So I think there are like especially if you're younger, I think there is room to like just be wrong on things, and you need some time to like eventually get things right and mature a bit, and come to come to your senses, so to speak. But I think that's such a small part of the MAGA coalition that I do think we can afford to be a bit harsher and more critical to them. I do. I don't think that would hurt us politically. And
am I okay? Well, let me ask you directly. How do you want that to manifest in my content? How meaner can I be, or that you want me to be? Like, you watched the show, right? I called them liars. I said that they were lying. What else do you want me to do?
No, I thought you did very good there. I wasn't necessarily criticizing you in this specific instance.
Okay, well, where do you think that I have been too kind?
I think that you are too quick to criticize. We're kind of looping here to what I was saying earlier, but I think you're kind of a bit too quick to criticize what you view as the cruelty in left-wing rhetoric and sort of language, when I think that those on the right, what they say completely blows out anything that like the general left-wing people say out of the water. And on top of that, everything they say is also a lie. So, it's like, I don't think that we should spend any sort of our political capital trying to like fight our own side on this.
I think
when it comes to like manners,
I think that the parts of our side that are acting poorly need to be called out, and I will continue to do so. And yes, I do think the right is worse. That's why I'm not on the right. But I don't think that excuses, or we could use that as to run cover. It's like the people who say, well, how can you criticize my action when there's a genocide in Gaza? It's that same kind of concept. Like, how can you call me out for doing this wrong thing when look at the right wing doing all the bad things that they are? Like,
yeah,
yes,
but
that's true, but you're still doing a bad thing,
on
right?
What is wrong and what isn't, right?
So can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
You realize we fundamentally, like, the fundamental disagreement I have on you is what is and isn't wrong, though. Like, that
when
analogy
it comes to certain types of rhetoric, yes, I do understand that, yes.
Yeah, and you also realize, like, I understand how dumb the argument is that, how can you be talking about this when a genocide is going on, like, blah, 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 blah. But when the problem is, like, immediate and it is in the same sort of, like, category you're in, it's almost like, I don't know, it's almost like I'm fighting a war against, like, I don't know, like a technocratic evil dictatorship or something. And you're like very harshly criticizing the weapons I'm using. Like you think, I don't know, they're using like drone strikes to just like blow up cities en masse and something. And I decide to like cobble together some sort of device that can like, I don't know, release like a toxic sort of gas in their cities. And you're going on and on about, well, what if
I'm going to criticize you for gassing their cities because that's horrific. Why are you? Hold on.
You
this
realize,
is the, hold on, just real quick. This is the hypothetical you crafted, where
Yes,
you're
and
going to
let me
release
finish.
a toxic gas
No, but let
into
me
their
finish.
cities and neighborhoods, their kindergartens, their
finish.
children. Just gas
Let
them
me
all.
finish,
And you're
Wick.
mad that I'm criticizing you for
Wick,
that.
you need to let me finish. You need to let me finish.
Okay.
And so they are killing much more people, right? And like the amount of innocent people I'm going to kill is like very low comparatively. And so you're saying like I need to stop doing this when I am the only thing that is like in between them and killing everyone.
But you're
You know
not
what I
the
mean?
only thing, man. You're not the only thing between them and
Me
killing
specifically,
everyone.
no, but like the left wing as a whole, they are the only thing like in between the very
Okay.
intense like
Yes,
MAGA
but
rhetoric.
if we start gassing their cities, it's gonna it may look. I'm
Do you
sorry, I'm
denounce-
laughing
hold
because
on,
the
hold on.
hypothetical is just crazy. But
Do you
like,
denounce? Hold on, no, answer my question. Do
do
you
I
denounce?
do I denounce
the,
gas attacks?
nuking?
Yes.
Do you denounce the nuking of Hiroshima and Nagasaki?
Not necessarily. I think that there is good evidence
not?
that. Well, I'll tell you why. Because I think there's good evidence that that if we did not do that, it would have been a far bloodier struggle overall. Because remember, even after we dropped the second bomb,
Exactly.
hold on, just real
Exactly.
quick. Even after we dropped the second bomb, the young Japanese officers tried to coup their government rather than surrender.
Yes,
there was a
I
sizable
remember.
faction within the Japanese government who still did not want to give up and surrender, and were still trying to fight the war, right?
Exactly. So in my example that you're laughing at, you realize that to defeat like this supposed evil tyrannical regime, more lives are going to be saved if you use every means possible to defeat them than if you just let them keep slaughtering everyone. That's
Okay.
what I'm criticizing you for.
Well, I disagree that your way is the only path to peace in this situation. I think that, in fact, I would argue that your way leads to further war in this hypothetical. I think that
that's
they're
what we
going to use that
disagree.
gas attacks as justification to do more oppressive shit towards other people.
Okay, and so say you're a supporter of Israel, right? Like generally.
Look, man, I think Israel should exist, sure, but I don't support what they're doing right now in Gaza. I don't.
Okay, but do you like you understand that there are some scenarios where and nor do I, but you understand there are some scenarios where it does make sense to like
Yeah, I mean, obviously, look, Hamas needs to go. I don't think there can ever be peace as long as Hamas exists. But there are ways to get rid of Hamas that won't lead to that amount of crazy, right?
Yeah, but you realize there were ways to take over Tokyo without nuking them. Like they could have done a ground invasion. Yeah, it would have led. You can make the argument about like if it would have led to like more deaths or whatever.
I don't know if they could have, honestly. It was a pretty fucked situation, and like I don't like the amount of people would have taken is crazy. $10 from Alexander Rin to say, so this caller believes that the ends justify the means.
In lots of cases, yeah. I don't think that's like a crazy thing to say because like I'm using this crazy example of like nuking or you know bombing and like lots of people dying, but when it comes to just using like slightly meaner rhetoric, I don't think it's a crazy thing to say, especially when the side you're using it against, like what they're advocating for is going to result in people having much worse lives and people actually dying. So I don't think
this is just our disagreement. We can rehash this for the 20th time, but I'll give you the last word, but just the counter to this is I think that leaving out the moral considerations here and just going strategic, I think that the type of behavior that you advocate for is going to empower the right rather than disempower them. It is going to make it more likely that they win rather than less likely. And again, I just will leave out my moral compulsion or compunctions with it, right? And just say that it's just not going to work and it's going to be counterproductive. But you can have the last word, then we got to cycle.
Okay, yeah. I mean, there's not really anything else for me to say either because we're sort of rehashing the same thing, but I think that they don't need any sort of rhetoric from us to be empowered. I think the fact that we fundamentally ideologically disagree with them is all of the ammunition they need. And like we were just talking about, they will just straight up make up stuff to support their point and to call us radicals. So I don't think anything we say that is mean necessarily matters. I think they're going to do whatever they're going to do regardless of what we say. But
Well, thank you
yeah.
for calling in, sir, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
Okay, you have a good day.
Mm-hmm. $10 from Alexander Rin to say, by your standard, MAGA is justified in everything they do as long as their ends are good in their own eyes. There is no act too far as long as the opposition is more evil than you, correct? Well, he can respond in chat if he likes, but yeah, I don't do the ends justify the mean bullshit. I think that there are lines, and we need to hold firm on our lines that these are our standards. We do not violate our standards, even if the other side violates their standards. A lot of people disagree with me, but they're wrong and I'm correct, so fuck them. Okay, let's bring on the next caller. Hello, you're live.
Hola.
Ni howdy.
Ni hao.
It's IGN, Biazzaman. What's up?
So, we've already hashed this topic 5,000 times, but
okay.
Listen. Because I just saw a tweet from someone saying, about the sedition thing. Is it the reason why they have to tell people, because this isn't something I believe you brought up, but is it you have to put out the call to remind people to not follow unlawful orders because the president himself is not going to be held responsible for those unlawful orders, and the soldiers will, so they want to remind them that they are not immune to that? Right?
Can you rephrase that, please, just so I'm understanding clearly what you're trying to say?
So, in telling soldiers to not follow unlawful orders, right? They had to remind people that because Trump is passing unlawful orders almost daily by telling the military and telling other people to do things that are not necessarily legal to do, or just in general violating the Constitution, he is immune to those charges because of being the president. But the people committing or carrying out those acts for him are not immune. Is that why they are telling them to not follow those orders?
I don't think so. Maybe, but I think that the general gist of the ad that I got was simply a PSA, right? Don't follow unlawful orders, because they are worried that Trump admin is going to start giving unlawful orders. So they want people to be vigilant against unlawful orders. And to be clear, soldiers, officers specifically, need to be vigilant about not following unlawful orders. I think that it is a good thing to remind people of, and honestly, I'd be okay with this kind of thing for every presidency. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Where the Congress people get together and say, hey, military people, intelligence people, remember, your oath is to the law and to the Constitution. And I'm talking officers specifically here. Okay, because officers are usually the ones that are going to be giving the orders, right? And they're the ones that are going to be like they're the link that's, I think, the most important in this chain. It's not always the case, right? Obviously, we've had NCOs and things give unlawful orders, and unfortunately, they got followed, and people ended up dying. And that sucks. But there's a process for how orders go down, and officers are key to that process. So just being vigilant and aware that, hey, this unlawful order, we should tell them, hey, this isn't lawful, sir. Go back and redo this. Go back and look at this again. I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, we can also, and we can also take into account like the boats that are being, exploded in the middle of the ocean. They could that not count as an unlawful order because there is no actual evidence being presented that these boats are
It depends on the evidence that they're given. I don't know the evidence because they haven't shared the evidence, but it's possible it was unlawful, but it's possible it was lawful. I don't know enough.
Well, they're showing unclassified, quote unquote, videos, what are they called? Drone footage of this happening. So
yeah, but just because they're blowing up a boat, I don't know if they're blowing up a boat justifiably or unjustifiably. I don't know just from that footage.
that's what I'm saying. Like, should they morally, or should they be following those orders to carry that out because they aren't sure, or are they being given the information
hold on.
beforehand?
I'm assuming, and this is an assumption, I could be wrong, that they have more information than I do in this case. Like, they might have... It's very possible what they're doing is illegal. It's possible. I will grant you that. But it's also possible that what they're doing is completely legal and justified. I don't know enough about that. They haven't released the information I would need, and they're probably not going to. But I just don't have enough information to make a correct call on that. Now, I will say that from my perspective and what I do know, it seems sus, but I don't know.
But what we can agree on is that the entire Trump administration so far has just been built on top of lies and just people saying whatever they want, and just in general just saying things that are completely untrue in order to mislead the American public.
Oh yeah, Hegseth and stuff lie all the time. That's very true.
No, Trump himself lies all the time.
Well, yeah,
I mean, the entire administration
also true.
lies.
Like, I'm agreeing
all
with
the time.
you. Yes, the Trump administration lies a lot. Yes.
Yeah, which is why, leading you down the path, right? This is why we shouldn't allow them to run anymore, right? Right?
What do you mean allow them to run anymore?
We shouldn't allow them to hold office if they're just going to be complicit
we should
to
vote
lies.
for the other guys, yes.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be allowed to hold office either, right?
What? Hold on. Do you think lying is grounds for being barred from holding office as a politician in the United States?
Can you lose your license for lying?
It depends.
Can you go to jail for lying
It depends. Not usually.
If you commit perjury.
Yes, but that's lying in a very specific circumstance. That's jailable offense because you're lying under oath in front of a jury or in front of a Congress or in front of whatever. Yes, you can go to jail in those circumstances, but you can't if you're just tweeting out nonsense. You can tweet out nonsense, and there's nothing illegal about that.
Yeah, so tweeting out nonsense, but standing on stage in front of the American public, in front of people in general, and then saying whatever you want should be held to the same standards as perjury, because they are taking an oath. Well, specifically Trump is taking an oath to the Constitution, so you would assume that everything he says should be held under the same standards that you would have in court, because everything he says is essentially in front of the not court of law, but like...
No, that's not how that works, Alice.
I know
that's not how that works at all.
It should, though. Should it not?
No. I think that it's okay, and good even, to want presidents to mostly tell the truth. But I can imagine scenarios where the president probably should lie to the public.
Okay, yeah. I can agree with that, because there are some situations for national security. But like yeah, okay, I can agree with that. You're right.
True, got him! 4K, dunked on, booyah! Men are better than women. Oof, 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 win. Okay.
Donate $5 for your best woman joke. Now. Anyway, I truly believe that the president lying consistently to the American public should be grounds for, like, at least some sort of insight or look into the administration to discover, like, isn't there some places that have something like a law or a vote of no
confidence?
Yes, a vote of no confidence. Didn't they do that in France or something?
I don't know about France. I could tell you we don't have really anything that takes... I don't think we have something similar in the American system other than impeachment, but that's for high crimes and misdemeanors. Lying, generally the accountability that we hold people to, politicians, when they lie, a type of accountability has traditionally been we vote them out. I remember being very young, and my dad, who is a Republican and has voted Republican all his life except for one time. The one time that he voted Democrat was in the 92 election with Clinton. And he told me why. And I remember distinctly at the time, he's like, I'm not voting for Bush because Bush lied to us. He said, read my lips, no new taxes. And then he gave us new taxes. I'm voting for Clinton. Now, he didn't vote for Clinton in the following election. He's never voted Democrat since. But he held accountable the politician that he felt lied to him. That is traditionally how we hold politicians accountable when they lie to us. Now, the problem with today's discourse is a lot of people are like, lying's actually good if it helps our team. And here we are, so.
Yeah, that's awful rhetoric. I think we should do what the French do. This is the first time I'll ever say that in my life. We should have a vote of no confidence. That's what the French did. And I guess that's why Candace Owens thinks that they're after her. I don't know.
Candace Owens is
Sorry,
crazy.
I'm just making stuff. That's
okay, $2 from Gelatinous Rube to say, yeah. And then $2 more from Gelatinous Rube to say men are better than women. So.
True. Okay.
Well, thank you for calling in, Alice.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know, gang. Look, you want to hold people accountable? I'm with you. But then when you get into the nitty-gritty of how you want to hold them accountable and it's crazy talk, I'm not with you anymore. That's it. Give me serious proposals. And this is why I was mad at Destiny the other day when I had him on my show. Because the proposal he was making was very unserious. Barring 75% of the Republicans from ever holding office again, just because they supported Trump, that's crazy. There's no justification for that, right? You have to pretend that they're supporting sedition by supporting the President of the United States, which isn't at all what's happened in 99% of the cases. Like, again, I would be even open to, hey, Hegseth, Trump, Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, specific people who you think have done specifically bad things, investigate them, try them, right? If you think you have evidence that they've committed a crime, by all means, right? But when you expand that to like, hey, and anyone who supported them is also guilty and is also going to be barred from holding office, that's when you're like, okay, no, you're just out for revenge. That's just not a serious thing. I don't know. Let's keep, I think we got a couple more people. So let's keep the ball rolling and keep giving me money, gang. It's stuff my turkey. It's turkey. Like, it's a short week, so I need extra money because we're only streaming 3 days this week instead of the normal 4 to 5. And, we're going to have a big, long turkey weekend. And I know you guys are all going to spend it with your families. So am I. I'm going to spend it with my family. So, get that money in now, right? Hello, you're live.
Yo, hello.
Hey, what's up?
Wick. Oh
Yo.
man, it's so nice to meet you.
Hi.
I'm calling in something a little different, not as serious as the topics you've discussed further, but at the top of your stream, I was trying to donate because I tune into your stream like whenever you're live and I randomly see you and you said like happy Tuesday. I was trying to donate. And I noticed I was muted, like YouTube wouldn't let me donate to you. And I checked on another tab and I'm like blocked or something. So
what's your YouTube name?
It's Schwain.
Gang, if you're a mod in my channel, because I don't actually know how to do this, can you unmute? Can you spell that for me?
SHWUEEN.
SHWEEN.
SHWUEEN. Yes.
I'll look into it. I'll try to figure it out. I would love to unmute you. I'm going to be real with you. I don't know how.
That's pretty much all.
I don't know how.
I feel it. I don't know why I got muted, but that's it.
Yeah, I don't know why you got muted either. Right click his name in the chat, Wick. Well, where do I see him in the chat? you can't type in my chat, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Participants. Hold on, let me look. I don't know. That can't be it because you have to, in order to participate, you have to be in the participant thing. You have to click the name.
You might have to Google it
Can
later.
you
I don't
chat
wanna
something in my
take up
chat?
too much of
Can
your
you
time.
chat in the
Sure.
YouTube chat real quick? We'll try to
Um,
fix this for you real quick, man.
Hi, Wick. Okay. Send.
Moderation activity will be shown. No, let's. Okay, I'm looking.
Sure. And also, it's something maybe you need to Google or something. You can plop someone else in here
Okay,
if you need to.
I'm looking at my moderators and I'm realizing I have a couple moderators I need to remove. But
Okay.
hidden users. Okay, I see you. I can remove you from
Okay.
this. Save.
Awesome.
Okay,
I'll
now
send
try
my dono
typing.
that I wanted to send fucking, what was it? 2 hours ago. But I'll hop out.
Yeah, I'll see you later. But just to make sure, just try chatting in something in chat right now. See if we can see you.
Hi, Wick.
Boom, gotcha. Okay, love you, buddy. See you later.
Nice. Hey, take care.
Okay, we did it. We got it done. Some live tech support for you guys, okay? Hello, you're live. Hello, you're deafened. Sir or madam. What's up?
Hello. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's
Do
up?
you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. Uh, wait, can you wait a second? Just, I want to close YouTube.
Well, give him a second, gang. Let's see if he mutes YouTube. Get it all situated.
Okay. Now it's not. And I have something funny I thought about when you were saying when you're talking about how they had to remind you every time you don't do illegal shit every week. You said or every month they have to remind you guys in the army.
6 months. It was once every 6 months to a year. We would have regular training that we would have to go through. And it wasn't just that. There was like a whole list of things that you had to go through on either a 3, 6, or 1 year like cycle that you had to be renewed.
Yeah,
And that was in the 6 or the
I thought
1
of
year.
yeah, I thought of Fanta. I thought imagine if there was like a special retarded kind of soldier who was normal, but one time when they were reminding him of all this shit, they forgot don't kill anybody and don't rape people, and suddenly in the next 6 months he raped everyone and killed everyone just because they didn't remind him. I'm thinking something stupid like that. Yeah, because he was too retarded to not do it.
There was a
And
joke in
and
the
then
military, yes, that was
yeah,
a
when
well,
he said
Sarge
it,
didn't
that's
say
yeah,
not to rape them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's and then I thought this popped in my head when you said that. And then when they tried him, how the fuck did you do that? Well, you didn't say it in the last seminar or something like that. So yeah, I thought it was legal for this for the next few months. I didn't know.
sure.
What can I say? I thought that's one.
Crazy stuff, crazy
And
stuff. But thank you.
no, but oh okay.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. It's hard to hear you. I don't know
Oh
why,
oh
but the audio is really
okay.
bad.
Sorry. Yeah.
I think it's because you're cutting in and out. Is it just me, gang, or is it you guys?
Uh, what now? Is it good now?
It's hard. It's because I think that like the beginning and the ends keep cutting off.
Oh, okay. You can if you have time later, can you try again with me to see if it's
Yeah, we
better?
can
If you have
maybe
time later.
backstage can help you a little bit, and I'll send you there. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Hello, you're live. Hello.
Hey. Hi, Wick. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man. I've been doing a science. One second, let me turn my camera.
Ooh, we get a camera. Fancy.
Yeah. What's
Okay.
up,
Oh,
man?
you got a whole setup. It's all
Yeah, dude.
professional looking. What's up, brother?
Not much, man. I've been doing a scientist like ask me anything on TikTok, and it's been really fun. I'm a PhD microbiologist. I've been doing molecular biology for like 16 years. So I basically genetically modify organisms for a living and trying to get into kind of like the whole science communication space, trying to break down interesting science that's happening and then go over like science news with people. So it's been really fun.
I have a question for you then. What is the most commonly held belief about science in general that is just wrong, that is just incorrect, it's a fallacy? Everyone, and it just grinds your gears. Like, people keep saying this shit, and it's wrong, and you just want to correct them.
Yeah, that there's only hegemony. Like it's dogmatic belief, like when we have like a scientific belief. Like there's actually fierce debate amongst the scientific community constantly at every level. You know, at the lab level, at the publication level, at the conference level, there's intense debate constantly. And it's not like we are given some thing to say and like you have to say this, you have to believe this. It's like quite the contrary. There's tons of debate. It's just that the debate happens at those different levels and in those channels and not like in YouTube comments. And that's why people are kind of not involved in that debate because they're not a scientist, they're not an expert at that debate. But yeah, I think that like scientists are skeptics. You know, that is a big thing and if we see a positive result, we are very skeptical of it and then we have to test it to reproduce that result and then that makes us like, whoa, what? You can actually reproduce this thing? That's amazing. And that's how we start building consensus.
Interesting. How long you been doing this? What does that ticker say? It says our vaccines
Yeah.
17
Yeah, man. Yeah, so
1146. What's that? What is that? Explain it.
Yeah, so we count all the vaccines that our community gets. So basically, people come in, they get vaccinated, they come in, and we celebrate them. We give them a vaccine party, we celebrate them, and say good job because I think if you're getting vaccinated, you're looking out for yourself, you're looking out your community. I think it's patriotic to be vaccinated. And then on top of that, the political actions is right underneath here. 720 emails and phone calls that we've made to try to stop these 423 anti-science MAHA bills that are at the state level. So we're politically organizing, trying to stop those from happening.
Sure. What are some of the more distressing bills that you see trying to be pushed?
Yeah, so I mean, there's the ones that are like in Florida, which are getting rid of the childhood vaccine requirements, but that's actually happening now dozens of other states at the same time. And they're not really just coming for vaccines, they're coming for public health in general. So they're trying to like ban epidemiology contact tracing. So the idea that you've been in a space that's positive with a positive case of measles, you should know so that you don't go in a supermarket or you don't go to a concert or something like that. That requires people staying home when they're sick, and they're trying to, in the name of liberty and freedom, not allow people to stay home if they're sick and say, "Oh, you shouldn't be quarantining. You should be able to free and live your life." And there's also like banning mRNA vaccines just entirely, which is really really awful. I mean that is basically the next generation of molecular biology tools that we're using to deliver cancer therapies and everything since 2015. And that's actually really interesting. There's been some really cool evidence that's shown that the mRNA vaccine specifically actually gives some anti-cancer abilities where
Really?
your body basically revs up and is able to fight the cancer a little longer. So people that have gotten vaccinated with the mRNA vaccine are actually living longer with cancer.
That's really interesting. The problem with science stuff is like I'm not a scientist, right? And I often don't have the base of knowledge to properly tell when I'm being lied to or not. And that's a real big issue with me. It's why I try not to like get too nitty-gritty into the vaccine stuff. So I just don't know enough about how that works in order to have a really educated opinion on this. But one thing I have heard, and since you're here, and I'm going to pick your brain, and I'm sorry for doing this because it's Colin show, and you're supposed to be
For sure.
talking to me,
That's why
right?
I'm here.
But
I'm your science
well,
correspondent,
thank
man.
you, thank you. I heard recently that was it Canada that recently lost its status that the measles was eliminated, right? Is that
Yeah.
true? And are we in America in danger of losing our status for measles elimination? There's a technical term for it. I just don't know it.
They did, and we absolutely are. So basically, what happens is measles is um, the most infectious disease that we know of. We're talking about an R naught of 12 to 18 when SARS-CoV-2 was 1 to 3.
Okay, and R
So we're
naught
talking
is
an R naught thank you. An R naught is basically the ability, how many positive cases that you can expect when you have a single positive case. So yeah, an R naught of 12 means that a single positive person in a crowd can infect 12 other people. So
okay.
it's extremely infectious, and it's so much so that measles, if you actually stay in a room that a positive person has been in 2 hours before, you can get measles in that room. So it's not just like hanging out with people, like what we've found, like the 6 foot rule or whatever with SARS-CoV-2. It's like completely different. It's actually staying in the same room. And basically, what happened is that Canada has gotten a massive outbreak in the last year. It's on it. If you look at the bell curve and stuff, they're on the tail end on the other side. It isn't in huge community spread. Like, it is spreading a little bit in British Columbia, but it basically happened out of Ontario and then kind of like went out from there. So it is spreading. So they did lose their status, and basically you can't have any positive cases of measles in the country for a year. And they're having some
Why did
that are
they
still
lose their
happening.
status? Like, what happened? What?
Unvaccinated
Oh,
people.
so
Yeah,
it's
unvaccinated
just
people
that.
in the rural counties. Yeah. So, but basically, like 97% of the measles population, measles positive cases were the unvaccinated people. So if you look outside, like they put out county by county maps, and you can see that like Toronto is at the middle of this, and it doesn't have like that many positive cases at all. But then all the outlying like rural areas are all positive. And then you look at the epidemiology report, and it's all like 97% are unvaccinated people. So it's people in the rural counties not getting vaccinated that are allowing this to spread.
I've heard. Okay, and this you can yell at me because I'm not maybe
Any
I'm
questions? Okay,
steel
man.
manning. I'm steel manning here. I
Yeah.
don't actually think this is the case. But a lot of
Okay.
people say the reason that we are, as in America, in danger of losing our status is by undocumented immigrants who aren't vaccinated, and they are the ones spreading all of this. How true is that, if at all?
I don't think there's any evidence like to say that they are uniquely like coming in. I don't think that you can correlate those two. Like, I mean, obviously people that are coming over the border aren't necessarily, they're not like being vetted like legal immigrants that are. Like, I know several people that have gotten their green cards. I mean, you have to have intense immunization cards to prove it, and you have to have titers if you don't. So it's a lot harder, but I don't think that it correlates, because the highest places with like measles cases right now, it's Texas, which has 800, and then it's going up throughout the entire country, and it's in cases of schools with unvaccinated children. So it's we know who are popping up as the positives, and it's not the centers that have the biggest amount of illegal immigrants. It's the people that are unvaccinated.
Interesting. $5 from Karen to ask you, what's your take on the avian flu?
I'm not well educated on that one specifically. There is a couple of the worrying cases that are happening, and it's kind of on the up and up right now. So it's something worrying to watch on. But a couple of epidemiologists that I like watch, Laughter and Light. She's amazing. Um, she's watching it carefully, but I don't think that it's at a time of panic yet. But I mean, you should always be getting your flu booster and your COVID booster every year, and for sure. And when you're traveling too, if you're going for the Thanksgivings, or you're going for Christmas, you should be masking in those airports. It just keeps you safe in order to be have a good time on your vacation.
Fair enough. Well, man, is there anything you wanted to talk to me about? I know I'm peppering you with questions right now, but I want to give you a chance because you did call in to talk to me about whatever you like. So what's up?
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself, and say that, yeah, I'm available if you want to do panels, or you want to have anything for like science content or anything, and I'm here
Okay,
for
well, I
you.
will
And
absolutely be reaching out. I think it might be interesting to kind of pick your brain on a few things in more detail. This is a call-in show. We do got a limited amount of time, but I will absolutely reach out to you. Thank you for coming on and talking with me. This has been
thanks, man.
interesting. So we're gonna let you go.
drgregshow.com with all my links and everything. Thank you guys. Thank you.
drgregshow.com. Check them out, gang. I'll see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. See ya. Bye.
Okay, we probably got time for one more. Okay. Oh, $10. Alexander Rinn to say you can get measles from the same elevator days later. Measles is the most terrifying virus on Earth regarding how quickly and easily it spreads and how long it's contagious on surfaces. True. But yeah, there is a rise in just infectious diseases that we thought conquered. Again, not a scientist. I can't speak to the details of all this. But it might be helpful, in fact, to have Dr. Greg on. Did you guys like Dr. Greg? Do you think he's a good guy? I don't know. I was kind of impressed. Maybe I'm easily impressed by aesthetics, though, right? Like, he seemed to know what he was talking about. Maybe I should set up a debate between him and who's a good right-wing scientist. If you guys had to point me to a conservative, someone who's knowledgeable on science, who might even debate about what's it called? Infectious diseases and whether or not immigration is a large contributing factor to that. That might be an interesting debate to have. But what right-wing scientist do you guys know of? I just don't know any. So if you guys have any, and you want to recommend them to me, please DM me or something like that, and I can reach out and try to set something up. I think it would be interesting. Yeah. Bring on the last contestant. $5 from Alexander Rinn to say there are no true anti-vaxxers. Everyone will take the vaccine after being bit by a rabid animal. Make sure you remind them of that. Thank you for $5. Welcome to the show, Robert.
What's
Paulson.
up, Bubba?
Bubba, I'm not
love you.
Bubba.
I love you,
I
man.
never had sex with Trump. That never happened.
Oh
okay?
no! I just thought of that.
I did not tap it on the tongue. Okay, that didn't happen. Not with Trump, at least. Where'd he go? I didn't kick him. Hello? Jump backstage, brother. Did you just get... Did the CIA take him out? I was just joking about the Bubba stuff. Oh no, they got him, gang. Oh, here he is. What happened, man?
Oh, there we go. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
no,
what do you got for us,
going on from the YouTube channel, and I freaked myself out. Instead of closing, the YouTube channel, I closed the Discord.
Okay.
So might be. I was hoping to end this on a somewhat lighter note. So thank you. So who's the baby? Is it Charlie Kirk's or JD Vance's? Whose baby is it?
I don't know. I have no idea. So for those of you who don't know what he's talking about, there's a rumor going around that Erica Kirk, I think Erica Kirk, I forget her name.
Erica Kirk.
Erica Kirk is
oh
pregnant.
My God, forgotten.
Yeah, well, I don't know her name. The wife of Charlie Kirk is pregnant. That's the rumor going around. And the rumor is saying that she's like very early stages of pregnancy. And the rumor is that it's someone else's kid, that it's a bastard child. I haven't looked into it at all. I honestly, it's beneath me to entertain.
Oh.
It is. I just don't do that kind of gossip bullshit. It just feels weird to engage in, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I guess that's a fair. I mean, that's.
I mean, look, if it comes out and it's a huge actual scandal with actual evidence, okay, we might cover it. But other than that, like, just let her live her life. She suffered enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I appreciate your altruistic outlook. I appreciate your metered approach. I have nothing else for that. I appreciate you.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you for the stream tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Bye-bye.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I disappointed him. I feel like you disappointed him. Or I disappointed him, sorry. I hope I didn't. $2 from My Listening Library YouTube says, as much as I don't like her, it's weird to assume. Again, it's these rumors. It's these rumors that kind of go out that are just like salacious. It just doesn't, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to just indulge in that kind of shit in public. I mean, look, I'm all for good gossip in private, but I don't know. It's just leave that lady alone. She suffered enough. $2 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays. Say, Wick, you stole another conversation. I'll keep stealing them. Okay. Okay, let's bring on. I know I said that was the last one, but we got one more guy in here, so we're gonna bring him on. Hello. You're deafened, but you can't hear me because you're deafened. Hopefully you realize you're live. Okay, you're live, buddy. What's up?
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you all right. What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to revisit the conversation from last time a little bit. Have you changed a little bit in terms of your the thing that you default to regarding consequences to MAGA? Have you changed at all regarding that? Pretty much stuck.
I think that my stance remains the same, and just to clarify everyone, my stance is I think if you want to prosecute Trump, Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and other high-ranking officials that you have evidence that have done something wrong, by all means. I think reopening the investigations that were dropped when Trump took office, just because he took office, I think that's perfectly fine. That's a perfectly reasonable ask. That's a reasonable thing to do. But when you start to say, hey, we got to bar 75% of Republicans from ever running for office, because that's accountability, and that's what accountability looks like, I just fundamentally disagree with you. I don't think it's a serious proposal. And if that is my stance, and that remains my stance.
Okay, I mean, when you phrase it like that, that's fair, especially if you have no reasonable evidence. But let's say you do have reasonable evidence. Now we're gonna try to stretch out what the threshold of consequence would be.
Like reasonable evidence for what, though? Like, again, in that conversation, Destiny was arguing that if you have reasonable evidence that they supported Trump, that this counts as sedition, and that they should be barred from running for office. That was his argument. I don't think that's a serious argument.
I think that's a ridiculous argument too. I'm gonna believe he's trolling regarding that. I don't know enough to say otherwise, but all right, let's talk about something serious then.
Go ahead.
Because one thing that was mentioned in the prior conversation, there's a few things that you can go towards. The easy one is stuff regarding Jan 6 and the false slate of electors, right? In that sense, if you can find evidence of a type of collaboration effort between certain individuals and some of the people who are considered inciting the insurrection with the Proud Boys, or you find some type of evidence where there's a level of ignoring the very clear intent to overthrow the election from certain congressmen, at that point, you got that evidence there. Would barring them from getting elected again, would that be justifiable in that sense?
Yeah, I think that if that's the conviction and that's the judgment handed down, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. But that's a different thing than saying anyone who had questions about the election should be barred from ever running for office again, which is just as silly. But if you have evidence that they directly took part in drafting the Eastman memo or whatever, then yeah, absolutely get rid of them. But we weren't talking about that. But to talk to you and to try to separate these conversations, I don't think that there's anything wrong with going after the people who were involved as in either organizing or perpetuating January 6th. But I am against going back after people who at the time supported who. If the only evidence you have is they tweeted support for the Jan 6ers, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It really kind of stays at the surface level of the conversation itself because there is substance regarding the stuff that I said regarding Jan 6 is one thing. I'm sure you agree the meme coin is one of the most corrupt things we've ever seen in politics.
Sure.
Where people can invest in that meme coin and get private meetings with the president of the United States. So the potential intentionality of doing underhanded deals and how that could influence international politics can be extremely dangerous. And the only reason I wanted to bring it back up is because you guys got bent down on that stupid conversation. I'm gonna agree to that. And definitely got bent down towards that. But in a more substantive way to kind of look at it, when you can find very clear things that a president doing in 99% of the time is corrupt. In addition to that, I feel like you could also look at things that are already considered very problematic that MAGA is concerned about. Right? They're concerned about the pardon system moving forward. They're concerned about the filibuster moving forward. And these are things, I mean, we see a perfect example of gerrymandering. They try to play that game with Texas. Texas did what they did. California says, okay, bet, and the people want it. Now we're having the whole thing with the federal courts and the Supreme Courts. But now a lot of the MAGA states are going like, you know, I don't want to gerrymander anymore because we're going to lose this battle. So now that there's very clear smoking guns that can be used in the Democrat sense to really change how politics works in benefit of Democrats and in a lot of concern to the Republicans.
Yeah, I'm
we
okay
can
with
throw a bunch of
gerrymandering,
stuff
man.
out there.
I'm okay with gerrymandering if they're going to gerrymander first. Ideally, I would like a federal law banning gerrymandering in general, but absent that, I'm okay with doing a tit for tat in this specific instance. But the problem is that a lot of people will try to stretch that into places where I am very not comfortable with, and I think would be not only unproductive but counterproductive to what I want to see happen. I want justice to be done by all means. I also want to win, right? I want to win elections. And it hurt us, the amount of people who wanted to just see all the Republicans thrown behind bars for all sorts of silly things. Because Destiny, I don't think he's trolling. I think he absolutely actively just wants revenge, frankly. And it's revenge-based politics. And he thinks, well, they're going to do these dirty-ass tactics. We got to do these dirty-ass tactics. And I don't think that's the case when it comes to certain things. Gerrymandering, that's fine. But when we talk about using lawfare like that, I'm not okay with that.
Okay, so I think there's a lot of points of agreement here. So I'm going to make this kind of the final point because you've been up here. You've been talking for a while. Let's stress that a little bit more. So in the instances of the individuals that did support Trump, because even though I wouldn't go as far as say, let's lock them up just because they support Trump, I do think they're absolute cowards and don't deserve to be in office anymore.
I wouldn't vote for them.
sure.
That's true.
But, okay, so in this sense, would you expose their weakness to the public if you have the information? So what I mean by that is that I don't know if you saw the interview between David Pacman and the former Republican guy. I don't remember his name exactly, but
Joe
Pacman
Walsh?
had a former Republican. No, not Joe Walsh.
Okay, then I didn't
someone
see
in your
it.
chat might know. So there was a former Republican. He wrote a book and how he talked about he was like the last Republican or whatever. And he made it very clear that he knew a lot of Republicans that adamantly, that very clearly stated to him that they didn't agree with what Trump is doing, but they were too much of a coward to say anything about it. And I mean, we see that very clearly with Mike Johnson as a perfect example. That dude's an absolute coward.
Sure. Would I expose them if I knew for a fact that they had said these things? Would I out them? Probably yes, depending, right? I could understand circumstances where I wouldn't. Like if they're continually giving me information and they're a source, I wouldn't out them in that case because they're continually giving me information. If I outed them, I'd lose them as a source. But all else being equal, and I just had this information, of course I'd release it to the public.
Okay. I mean, at this point, we're pretty much on the same page. Expose the people that made it very clear that they rather win the politics game than care
let
about
the
country.
Let the voters decide their fate. Because here's the hell of it, okay? If we actually believe in democracy, we have to realize that if a congressional district wants a liar in office, that's their right to vote for a liar. It just is. There are certain crimes, obviously, that we make it so that you can't run for office. Fair. But if the people of congressional district in Tennessee 101 or fuck all, I don't know, right, says, you know what, I know this guy's kind of a coward, but I like the way he votes on X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to, even though he lies, I'm going to vote for him anyway because I like his policies on X, Y, Z. That's their right to do, right? I think it's stupid. I think they're dumb. But that's their vote, not mine.
Yeah, ultimately, I think that is fair. Just moving forward, if you have this conversation again, I think the perception was wrong about you. It's very clearly because it made it seem like you and Connor were going like, you know what, elections are our
Who
only
made it
choice.
seem? Who made it seem? It wasn't. It didn't just happen.
I mean, Destiny, sure.
And
but
DGG in general, this is the game they play. I'm going to use you as an example. Not you as an example, right? But I want to use this opportunity to kind of expose this kind of... And it's not just DGG that does this. Almost every online community of a big streamer will do this. And it's just... It's ubiquitous, and it's expected, and it's... Like, Sitch and Adam's community does this to me all the time, too, right? Hassan, if their community knew me, they would do it to me as well. If you disagree with their streamer daddies, they are going to paint you as the most hyperbolic type of thing that they could possibly do. So me saying, I don't like this proposal that you're making, Destiny, of how you're going to hold these people accountable, they will say, oh, you just don't want them held accountable at all. Even though that's not what I said. And in many places in the conversation, I said, hey, these are the ways that I would be comfortable holding these people accountable. They would pretend like I'm saying something entirely different. That's something that every community does. It's annoying, but it's I don't give that much of a shit, right? So
I think that's fair, but at the same time, because I didn't watch all of it because I was doing something. I was at the gym. I came in later on to see the conversation. And I do think you were in a very defensive stance because Destiny was so proactive in pushing his kind of, it as of right now seems ridiculous rhetoric. But with that said, you do have to control the narrative sometimes and be a little bit more proactive. Because if your only response is that all we got is the elections, you need to provide me something else. At that point, you can't allow him to have the onus of providing that information if he can't provide anything substantive. At that point, you can just switch it.
Just to be clear, the elections are, in 90% of the cases, the ballot box is where we hold these people accountable. And that's just been tradition. That's how we do it in America. That is the incentive they have to behave well. If they don't behave well, they get voted out.
Right, but at the same time, there is a want, especially on the left and in the middle, of something that seems to be stronger, which is why there was so much approval of Gavin Newsom doing the gerrymandering thing. So in this sense, even though elections is the end-all be-all, the Democrats do have a lot of things that they can do.
Yeah, I supported the gerrymandering thing, though, but I don't think that's not holding anyone accountable. That's just playing politics. Like no one is held accountable by the gerrymandering. Like no one goes to jail. No one's barred from office, right? Like it's just to phrase that as holding them accountable. That the gerrymandering thing is holding them accountable. I don't see it.
I completely disagree because they lost seats in the Democratic state of even though it was majority California is majority blue. The Texas thing, when they did it, there's a reason why the federal judge was like, hey, bro, this is kind of racist. Now it's going to the Supreme Court. Now there's a whole conversation regarding gerrymandering. And then in that sense, all these other Republican states that were talking about gerrymandering too, a lot of them are changing their mind because they realize that this is not something that people like. So in this sense, they're losing potential congressional seats for something they started. And we already know as of right now, the Democrats have a strong chance of controlling the midterms. So at that point, that is directly holding them accountable.
Well, I think that a lot of people
started.
Remember, a lot of the people, Kentucky specifically, and several other states that were red, dropped their plans to gerrymander, not because of Prop 50. They dropped their plans to gerrymander because they saw the margins of wins in Virginia, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and they realized that if they dilute their congressional seats buffer of winning percentage, that they are in danger of losing those seats. So they were worried it would become a dummy mander, where they gerrymander trying to win more seats, and it ends up biting them in the ass when you have a strong blue year. They didn't do it because of Prop 50. Let's be clear on what this happened and why this happened. They saw the ballot box, they saw the election results, and they made their choice based on that, not because of Newsom.
I'm not saying it's because of Newsom, but I'm talking about the full context of what happened, because there is a realization that when Texas did it, they did it without the people's know-how or people's support, or it deemed any kind of very legal process. In comparison to a blue state doing it, they're going to have overwhelming support. So this is really not going to be an issue. So these red states doing it as a response are going to have more of a difficulty, both legally and from their own base, who never said they wanted this in the first place. So that literally what you just said is a recourse of them doing things they should not be doing, because ultimately people don't like gerrymandering anyway. Before all this BS, people never liked gerrymandering. Now it's at the forefront of conversation, and now this could be something that can be put on the table for a Democratic-controlled Congress and presidency, where they look at gerrymandering and maybe consider banning it altogether, or at the very least completely changing how it's done moving forward.
Like I said, I'm all for a federal ban on this. But thank you for calling in, Riddell. I do appreciate you, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay.
No problem. You have a good one, boy.
You too. Okay, friends, enemies, Wiccas, Wickets. Okay. Did you guys enjoy the show? Did you guys like it? Was that fun for you? Did you have fun? I hope you did. I hope you did. Okay. Gang, if you like this content, if you enjoy my show, hit that like button. That subscribe button. There's how many likes on this thing? Let me look. 14 likes and about 60 y'all in here. Crazy. Why are there only 14 likes? You guys can up that number, can't you? It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. What do we got coming up? So I'm not streaming Thursday or Friday. I'm going to be enjoying Thanksgiving weekend. However, on Wednesday, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, I'm hosting a debate between Vibe and Dispel on abortion. And tune in for that. It should be fun. Check us out. Give us likes, give us subscribes, and give me money, gang, because it is Thanksgiving. And don't you like me? Don't you want to be thankful for your Wick TV show? I hope you do. Okay. Is there anything else before we go? Anything I didn't cover that you guys want to see me covered? Anything that I said that you guys are like, oh, Wick, you need to really qualify this. You said something silly. I don't know. Toby1 Kenobi says, why do you hate all communities, Wick? I hate you all. No, I love you all. Well, sometimes I hate you all. I hate and love you all both at the same time. Hate and love are like two wolves inside me battling it out for control at any one time, okay? I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Peace out, Girl Scouts.